Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of the TrafficTroupe podcast. My name is Cab, and it's so nice to see everyone here again. Thanks for coming round. I'd like to introduce my friend, Blaze,
What's up?
and my other friend, Johnny D.
Hey.
Great intro, guys. Now, let's get started on some discussions. First of all, I think a way to start off is for people that think that we're some boring ass vehicles that don't do shit. We all went out uh, on Saturday, right?
Yeah, we did.
I had so much fun I forgot the day even. You know what I mean? Hey,
Well, I mean, it went into Sunday, so maybe it was actually 2 days.
true. Party
We
animals.
went out on Saturday, but we came in on Sunday.
Yeah, but we all left at different times. Wink, wink, everyone. And so I think some people are missing some details, and I think it'd be funny because some funny things happen that other people don't know about. So I was so hard not to tell Johnny D this during the pre-show during all the tech setup, but on the way to the first bar, I was drinking. Uh, Alcoholic Mountain Dews just in the street. And
Street.
and before we got to the first bar, I still had one left. And I could have just hit it in my pocket and no one would have known or whatever, but it felt rude to bring it in. There's just something off about it. So I just put it on a garbage can in an alleyway, a block away from the bar. We spend whatever, 2 hours in the bar or whatever. And Johnny D had to leave. And so me and Blaze leave and we walk the same way home. And we had like a mind meld where as we were like 10 feet away, both of us were like, oh my God, what if it's still there? We come to the alley, we take a look, it's still there. So I cracked that baby open. Oh, it was so sick.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I mean, I guess technically it shouldn't be surprising that it was still there, but at the time, it felt surprising. Like,
I was
for
shocked.
context, without, whatever, doxing us or something, like, this is in a major U.S. city, in an alley. We figured the whole idea was, we'll leave this and a bum will open it up and have a good day, like, right?
Right, free alcohol.
That was the plan.
And
But
I
no,
was
it was
the
still
bum.
there.
And yeah, I was shocked, and it was so delicious and hit the spot. And it lasted just the amount of time it took to walk to the next spot. And speaking of, again, more details that people don't know, when uh, when Blaze left the second bar, and of course I'm there by myself late night hours, you know what I mean? I'm just a party animal, taxi cabs be like. I made friends with the people next to me, and I got that girl's number. Player.
Wait, so were these
Awesome.
people there when I was there?
Yeah,
They were closer to where you were sitting or where I was sitting?
you.
I'm trying to remember.
There's just two people, and made some friends, and got one of their numbers, and we're getting married soon.
Oh, nice. When's the wedding?
Soon. I think I'm gonna do
Awesome. Yeah,
I think I'm
make
gonna
it.
do a first date first, but then the
Oh,
wedding is
okay.
the
Oh,
next.
everybody does that. Be original.
I know.
Just go for it, just get married and then make it work like, just
I
do it.
wish.
Yeah.
My dream woman would be someone that was willing to get married on the first date.
Do you watch isn't there there's at least one or two reality
Yep.
shows that are that, right?
And I would easily be on those shows. I think it's
What
just. I think
is it
marriage is just so easy. Like I think people put the stake into it that I don't put into it.
90
Well,
Day
it's
Fiance, is that it?
legal too. Like, I mean, you wind up with like your accounts are combined. You might like own a house together and splitting the assets is so it's a big deal. I mean, if you don't have any assets, I guess it's not a big deal.
Yeah, and I have no assets, and I'm assuming those shows come with
Prenups.
perfect prenups written by the lawyers. That was always my guess, right? Like if there was no prenup and they're like, oh no, you're risking it all to be on the show, maybe not.
Maybe it's worth risking it all for love.
That honestly, like, that's kind
You
of
know
what
what
I'm
the best?
saying.
You know what? Let's talk about something very important. The best dating show ever was Flavor of Love.
Oh yeah.
Who remembers Flavor of Love and doesn't remember Fondly? Haven't met one.
I mean, I remember it existing as a show, but I can't tell you that I ever watched a single episode.
Girl, come get your clock.
Wait, that's crazy that you don't.
Yeah,
you
what's
never
wrong with
watched
you?
that.
Wait a minute. Yeah, back up. Did you at least watch Charm School with Monique?
No, that I'm not even aware of.
Rock of Love with Brett Michaels?
Brett Michaels?
Yeah.
Who? All right, I don't actually even know who that is.
The rock star from the band Poison.
Poison?
Oh, okay.
No,
No, I'm not. I don't watch any reality TV.
Me neither, but that one was just so. I was saying, like, everybody watched that.
Yeah, it was just so
except
beautiful.
Blaze. I mean, it really was. There were so many hard. But was it someone pumpkin? Or no, someone spat in Pumpkin's mouth.
Yeah, didn't you? I
Delicious,
thought New York.
I think.
New York spit on pumpkin.
Oh yeah, remember New York had her own show?
Oh yeah. You ain't got
I
no
Love
love for
New
New
York.
York.
Yeah, I've watched the reality show I can remember actively watching was the first season of King of the Nerds.
Never even heard of that.
It was like I think like okay, the premise was kind of that they got I don't know people that were nerdy, but like and nerdy kind of like in different ways. Like they all had their own like thing that they nerded out about kind of thing. And then they would whatever they lived in a house together, and then they did.
Cocaine.
No, I don't think there was any cocaine.
Meth?
Whatever they had these just dumb like challenges and things like that. It was I don't know. It was moderately entertaining, I guess.
I feel like that was one of those shows that had someone on it that's like now famous. Do you know what I mean?
What about Eliminate? Remember that one?
Okay, yeah, that's reasonable. That now we're getting into like that's my territory. That's what Blind Date, Eliminate. Yeah, Blind Date was amazing. It was like they had the best thing about that was that they had those like during the day they had these like funny like chat bubbles that they would pop up.
Yeah.
That made the show. Like that was yeah.
Well, and hey, speaking of trashy TV, Jerry Springer died.
Oh yeah.
Rest in power, King.
Alright.
He was I never watched those shows. And I don't know if it's just because I was slightly too young.
Oh, when you stay
or
home
if
from
it just-
school, like
they
that's what
weren't-
you do.
They just weren't on in the house. That's what I'm saying. Like it was never something I don't think I was the right age to seek it out. And no one in my house enjoyed those shows.
No, nobody actually enjoys. Well, maybe they do.
Oh no, people love those shows. What are you talking about?
I mean, they like you watch it like ironically. It's like
no.
Well, at least
You
I
might
did.
watch it ironically.
Yeah, I do. Does anyone actually like enjoy it the way you would enjoy like I don't know something tasteful?
No, it's the best. Honestly, it's the best because I feel like and I think that I don't even know. We're only 5 episodes in, but in my head this was already brought up before. Did we talk about like Maury or something at some point, or maybe I
I think
just?
we talked about Maury like
Yeah, I
every
know.
episode. What are we
We're
saying?
already we're already. It's way
Well,
too
there's a
early
lot
to
to
be
say about Maury.
cycling back to something we already said. But speaking of like the whole Jerry Springer thing is like Jerry Springer is better than Maury Povich because Maury
I disagree.
it was around that era where Jerry Springer got popular, and then everybody tried to do that.
But
And I
wait, but
think Maury was trying to do that. Like his show wasn't really like that originally, and then he started just doing more. It wasn't like
well,
on the level of
Springer's
Jerry
wasn't either.
Springer.
But Springer's
Wasn't
wasn't
it?
originally like that either. That's just so weird. So, and the difference I think between Springer is just like, let's get a brother and sister in the underwear and have them wrestle on stage and crap like that. And when they're just stupid, or like somebody was like, having sex with like an object or something like that, and someone else got jealous of it, the object or whatever.
Oh man,
So,
I've
but like
got
we got Maury. Maury was like, it
th-
tried to be useful. Like, we need to find out who the baby daddy is, or maybe you were ugly in high school, but now you've transitioned and you're beautiful, and now you're gonna go like lap dance on your bully, or my baby weighs 500 pounds. I mean, these are real issues. These need to be discussed. And there was a sort of something accomplished with Maury. I feel like he was trying to do some good. Or they bring that big military guy to come and yell at like the 14-year-old girl who's doing drugs and crap. Like it was different. I think
we
it wasn't
have
as
the
much of a
technology.
spectacle.
We have the technology. I've heard on this show we're doing to play videos because we've done it a couple times,
Okay.
and this is not planned and this is very impromptu. And that's I guess pretty much what the whole gist of what we're doing is. But I have a really good short Jerry Springer clip that I think that we need to share with
Is it the
everyone.
is it the one where she's wearing a yellow shirt?
No,
Oh. Do you know
no,
what
it
I'm talking
involves
about?
Which one is
mascots.
this?
Oh,
It's
well,
like furries.
send me the link. You know which one I'm talking about? I think the most famous Jerry Springer clip is the one where she reveals that she was born a man to the other guy, and he like takes a pause, and then he says, "I'll try anything once," and then they make out.
It's nice to be open to new experiences.
But that's what I'm
That's
saying.
cool.
It's like unironically super beautiful, and that's like I think why it's so one of the most
You'll
popular
see,
clips.
Jerry Springer can be wholesome, kinda.
Are you gonna?
Yeah, I am. I'm just a little slow.
It's
Don't worry.
okay. We can also put on the Vogue live stream of live at the Met Gala. That's on my homepage because I a big fashionista. That's what everyone's always told me.
It's true. We've been
Oh
calling that
shoot!
for years.
I dropped my pen. I mean my tire iron. I mean my carburetor.
Hey, do you want to join the Pen 15 Club?
Dude. Man, I miss like I don't know, like obviously I don't want to be a kid anymore or whatever, but like I think I have weird I'm sure this has huge crossover, but I like that kind of stuff.
Oh,
I
I
don't know
miss
why.
I miss having it be acceptable for me to be immature.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
there
exactly.
comes a point where
But in
you
certain
can't
ways,
do that.
like I would never want to be immature in certain ways, but I would 100%
Yeah.
want to be,
There's
Pen
something
15
fun
club.
about actually being mature but like
Willingly being
willingly enjoying things that are immature but
well, that's like
still
what happens when
deeply
you become
being
grandpa.
not immature.
Like it's okay for like grandpa to do something silly and goofy and immature like that because he's raised his kids and now he's just goofy grandpa. Like if you're like a grandpa or like a weird uncle or something, I guess it's okay for you to do
Weird uncle.
that. I don't know. See, but no, that's not true. Because like, if Grandpa was like, "Hey, when I was a kid, we used to do the Pen 15, try it in your friends," but when Weird Uncle asks if you want to join the Pen 15 club, suddenly it's stranger danger. Can't do it.
Okay. True. All right, so can you hear me right now?
Yeah.
Okay. And then
No.
actually?
No, yeah, I can hear you.
Oh wait, why would you respond? Oh my gosh. Wow,
Exactly.
classic child prank. So I'm gonna play this video for about 2 seconds and then pause it, and you guys can tell me if you can hear it because I had to do some audio switching really quick.
Benny,
Yeah.
you know I
Yes.
Yeah.
love you. And we've had some really good times together, and it's just
It
you're
sounds really
always so
awkward.
busy, and you have so many games, and appearances. You're just never around, and I get lonely.
Boo.
I've been seeing somebody else.
Oh my God, the Philly fanatic.
Well, let's meet the guy.
Boom! Headbutt.
Jerry, Jerry, Jerry,
No.
Jerry, Jerry. Wait, that was so good.
Yeah,
I love that.
that was amazing.
Two of the best. If I had to personally say, two of the best mascots ever made. I've seen the Benny the Bull clips. Have you ever seen those before? Like the
I-
compilations.
I was definitely expecting, like you said, originally like a different team's mascot, but somehow just a bigger inflatable mascot actually somehow ended up being funnier.
I agree. That seems very realistic. That's how the fights would go. But yeah, I'm like, I'm a very bad reactor because I get very distracted because I get my little giggling fit, and I'm still kind of cracking up at that.
I mean, I had the advantage of already seeing it several times.
Yeah, cheater. We should. When are we gonna transition into a trashy daytime talk show?
Very soon.
Immediately.
It's gonna be like several episodes from now.
Okay, deal. As long
What's
as it
our
happens.
first trashy? Well, wait. What will our first trashy topic be?
Well, we need maybe if we have like a guest on or something, it'll start really classy, and we'll get somebody that's just like, wow, I can't
Ooh,
believe
classy to
we
trashy.
got this person, and then we'll have Honey Boo Boo will
You
be
know,
a second
apparently,
guest.
somebody was telling me the other day, was showing me, I guess Honey Boo Boo is 18 now. What are the repercussions of this?
She can vote.
Do we want Honey Boo Boo voting?
Yeah. I think she'd make
I gotta-
some good. Yeah, I think on being that side of fame, I think you come out of it kind of astute.
Stepping away for one second. You carry on.
Okay. Enjoy.
Because remember there was
Wow.
that whole thing. I think we talked about this too. That I think it was the governor of Georgia was upset that Honey Boo Boo was making the state of Georgia look bad,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
which she was. So
Yeah, he's finally gone. Now we say one thing that you hate about Blaze.
he thinks that Jerry Springer is better than Maury.
Oh, true.
No, it's fine. How about you? What do you hate about Blaze?
There's so much to choose from. I don't like his little Dalmatian goatee,
I hate that he's a Pisces.
and he's a Pisces, and I don't like that he just I don't know, sits there.
Okay.
But yeah, so while he is gone, we will also start a topic that might be fun. He can come back in the middle of not understanding what's happening.
Okay.
What is your favorite old school video game and why?
You know, there's so many. I mean, well, it depends if you're old school. If you're talking like Atari or the original Nintendo, Super Nintendo, what era are we talking here? Because we're all pretty different.
I would say anything PlayStation and before. So anything pre
Can I do a
2000.
cop-out answer and do like Super Mario All-Stars or something like that? Plus Super Mario World in the same cartridge where they change Luigi's sprite a little bit?
You're allowed.
Basically, all right, then that, even though I don't actually own that particular cartridge, because I think that era, the Super Nintendo era was so good because it brought so many new things into the like video game world. New franchises and new series are still going on, and it perfected what was going on before it in like the 8-bit NES era from the 1980s. So it's so hard to do. Like there's so many RPGs from that era that are still so classic. There was like a great Zelda from that, The Link to the Past. so many good Mario games, and I think that with Mario in particular, like think of like the classic Mario games, but in Super Nintendo era, that's when they started coming up with all these kind of like bizarre things. That's like the interesting era. The early '90s is the interesting era of most video game franchises, even like Sonic the Hedgehog or things like that.
Oh yeah,
Pokemon
did
kind of falls into there too, early '90s. That was more mid '90s, I guess. But that whole era there's just so much going on. It's hard to really narrow it down.
did you guys? I think you guys said you were seeing the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Sorry if I just got
Yes.
back. So if you mentioned that already.
No, we did not mention it, but we did.
Nice. What's your take?
It was what I expected it to be. It was Illumination. It's basically like Minions tier. It's not bad, but it's like what you think it would be.
Yeah.
I didn't like the only real criticism I had of it. Well, actually, what I thought was interesting is that how they incorporate so much of the Western, like cartoon, like the Deke and all that. Like their rap at the beginning of their commercial was from the American cartoon of the early 1990s. I The only thing I really didn't like too much was how they characterized Princess Peach. She was a lot more kind of like girl boss or like, hey, think you can come up with me, and that's not really her personality in any of these any of the
Uh,
personalities she's had over the years.
no, I mean, have you played Odyssey?
I have not played Odyssey,
Okay.
but like the first game where she had any sort of real recognizable personality was Super Mario RPG: Legend of the Seven Stars. Same with Bowser too, actually. And she was in that one. She was kind of feisty, which has usually kind of been her personality in the RPGs where she talks a lot, but she wasn't sassy. There's a difference. And then in most of like the Super Mario 64, Mario Party, and these other random games, she's just kind of the sweet kind of bubbly princess. So I don't know. I understand why they did that with her though, to make because Mario himself doesn't have a ton of personality in any incarnation, so they needed her to be more
That
interesting, I guess.
that was like so in Odyssey. Uh, First of all, it was amazing because they had so many. Honestly, I liked it better than I thought I would. Like it actually exceeded my expectations
I
because
liked it. I enjoyed it.
they had a lot of callbacks to a lot of different games and like
Yes.
even the whole like Bowser wanting to marry her and like his tux or whatever that he's wearing. Uh, that is like very like it's pretty much what he wears are very similar to what he wears in Odyssey. And also going back to what I was saying about
That goes back before that. That the whole Bowser wanting to marry Peach thing. That goes back to Super Mario RPG, and there was a big plot point in Super Paper Mario on the Wii. That's been going on for decades.
yeah, but the whole like Peach kind of being whatever like I don't know if you say feisty or like independent or
Yeah, she's
whatever because
feisty.
at the end spoilers for anybody who hasn't it really cares about the plot of Super Mario Odyssey. Uh I think it ends up with like she doesn't marry Bowser, obviously, and then but you as Mario also have a tux, and you're like, oh, you're marrying me, right?
And they're like the
And then
romantic
she's
interest,
like,
so.
and then you find her when you go back and you replay all the other worlds. She has like a bonus challenge or bonus star or something, so it's like her traveling the universe,
Because the thing is I think that people always
like a
thought that
strong, independent woman.
who don't need no man. But the thing
Exactly.
with Peach is that she's really the only character in the Mario series that has any sort of interesting like character behind her actually. the and she's always kind of been this like people like she's I mean the early games like Mario 1, 2, 3, and or even like Mario World, she was just the thing you rescue really. She showed up in the end and gave
Yeah.
Mario this or whatever. But after that, she was never once they actually gave her some character, she was never just kind of like sit around like the usual princess sit around and wait for me thing. She was doing things. She plays sports, she races cars. In the RPGs, she's always doing something. She has her own little side quests. She's playable in most of them. I mean, she was always more of a more developed character as far as Mario characters go than Mario or Luigi, Bowser even. I mean, so in the early, like in the 90s cartoons, she was very rarely captured at all. I mean, she was doing stuff, and she was kind of feisty then too, like, kind of, I don't know how you describe her, but she was kind of like, you know, keeping everyone on task and let's go, and that's not right, let's go guys. Like she was, kind of fighting as much as the Mario Brothers, and then she kind of went from there. I'm not sure why they felt that to make her more of an assertive, interesting character, they needed to change her personality rather than work what has already been there for many, many years. I'm sure there's some reason they thought it was more marketable, like it's Illumination, it's basically Minions, but it's all right.
Yeah. First, I'm gonna call it the thesaurus and tell him that sassy and feisty aren't synonyms. That's what I'm gonna do first. Second,
Correct.
I
People like feisty, no one's sassy.
Wait,
When
okay, tell me the difference right now. What's the difference between sassy and feisty?
feisty, because sassy is it's sassy. It's like subtly insulting, or they're gonna be like, like just like making jabs just because. If you're feisty, you're kind of like, you know, going against expectations, or you know, pushing the boundaries a little bit. There isn't the undertone of aggression to it.
so
I feel
sassy
like
is feisty with a negative connotation.
Sassy is usually unpleasant. Feisty is kind of cute and endearing. Sassy is generally aggressive. Or
I
meant to,
don't know. I think if
never
anything, I
target.
feel like you have those backwards.
No, you're wrong. You can have sassy Princess Peach, and I'll have feisty Princess Toadstool, and we'll just go our separate ways. And Cab, you can have Daisy.
Yeah.
She's
Also,
yellow.
I consider myself very lucky. So
Princess
some
Daisy,
reason,
how do we feel about her?
for some reason, I have a personality where it's like I don't tend to care super much about a lot of things, and I think sometimes it's a benefit and sometimes it's a detriment. I've never been in any sort of like fandom or really cared about any sort of IP or whatever, and it doesn't allow me to utilize those kind of things, like make friends. Like I can't go to like the anime convention and like make a ton of friends because we all love One Piece or something. However, I feel one of the big benefits is that I can just appreciate all forms of IP usage without caring about how they're misused, or like, oh, the book's better, or this person
I mean, I don't know.
is this. I feel like I just get to sit there and enjoy it, which is nice.
Well, back to the main topic of like, interesting eras in old school games. That's why I think for Mario in particular, just because there's so much media from that time, the early 90s is so interesting because there wasn't, and like most video games are still around, there wasn't one like canon for it. There were like American cartoons and products and books and comic books and there were Japanese comics and manga and animations, all that had nothing to do with one another. So it was interesting as the internet came out to kind of see what the rest of the world did with these things, and that's why you wind up with all these bizarre games from that era, like Mario's Time Machine, Mario is Missing, Mario's early years, or the Zelda CDI games, which have gotten famous just because they're bizarre animations, the Wand of Gamelon, the Faces of Evil, Zelda's Adventure, or all these weird like Sonic educational games like the Tales in the Music Maker and stuff like that. That's why I think that era was so interesting, because there's just so many strange things that when you like list all the Mario games, people forget about all these things because they're just so strange. They're bizarre.
Yeah, because they're
Yeah,
not a
do you
nerd.
remember the weirdest one was that game, uh Are You There, God? It's me. It's a me, Mario. Oh, sorry,
They're
I had to
making a
tell that
movie
one
out
in.
of Are You
Yeah,
There,
I
God?
know.
With Margaret.
Yeah. That was
Which is a
that's.
strange thing to make a movie on, but
What
okay.
is that?
I mean, it's a book. A book is never really a strange thing to make a movie on. Like, if it's a book, it could be a movie. Why not?
You think every book should be made a movie?
Oh,
Not
Wow.
every
absolutely.
book,
Wow.
but I'm
I heard.
saying I would never
Nope.
think it was weird if a book was made into a movie.
That's what I heard. I heard Blaze says he wants Mein Kampf the movie.
I'd
I'm
watch it.
surprised they don't have. There's got to be some indie whatever that made that.
Oh,
Uh,
I can guarantee that's a movie.
is there not even a small part of you that
No,
is a
whoa. Okay.
little bit
Oh, go
curious,
ahead.
like about like like reading it just to get inside the mind of somebody that
Like a true
is
crime kind of thing.
who he was. You know what I mean? Like just to see like a peek into like how his mind worked, because it was
No, yeah, no, I
awful,
don't.
but it's
It's
interesting.
interesting. No, I don't think
I
there's anything.
mean,
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like that's what. Well, that's like when things like this do happen in history, maybe to that scale, or a world war or something smaller. When people find documents and things that people wrote and get an insight, it is interesting. I mean, you can find out like what they're thinking, how they're thinking, their own logic about stuff, and then that's why things like true crime are so fascinating to people. Like, every couple of years, like they just had that Jeffrey Dahmer thing that came out a couple of months ago. Every, couple of years, the world gets reinterested in Jeffrey Dahmer or Ted Bundy or one of these people. It is fascinating because it goes so against societal norms. It's fascinating.
okay, let's just go straight to the musical, Mein Kampf,
I
the
mean,
musical.
the
I actually
producers.
think that it's more likely to be a musical and very campy than it is a straight movie.
Yeah, it's in the producers. They have a musical about Hitler.
Yes, that's true. It's springtime for Hitler.
Yeah. The yeah, I don't know, cuz I've never read it.
Me neither.
I've never read a mass shooter's manifesto before. So I don't
I
know
read the
why I would
Communist
start with
Manifesto before.
the most mass murder. But
Yeah, if you're gonna start, just go right for it, right?
I mean, yeah, but I've never done that. I've never I don't know. It is weird cuz there's like a yeah, I don't know. That's actually really I am not making this analogy at all to be a one-to-one comparison. But like I read the Bible specifically like um like all of the Bible to see like how it was constructed or whatever, and I guess that could be similar. I'm again not making any sort of analogous statement, but like reading something purposely just to figure out more like the motives
Yeah,
and
I
the
mean both
construction.
books, were written to motivate a lot of people.
Correct. Figuring out sort of like the construction behind it versus you know the material.
Speaking of the Bible, I was on YouTube yesterday. I don't know how I found this, but it just came up on my thing. There is a um animated like Bible. I don't know how far it goes. I guess the intention at least is to do the whole thing. I got as far as Job, and they like animate the whole Bible, and it's fairly well done for how long it is. I watched this for about an hour and a half, and I think it's interesting that it is long is there's so many ways that people have tried to make the I don't say like make it interesting because it is interesting, but to try to fancy it up or modernize it. I remember about maybe 10, 15 years ago, a big thing where there was the manga Bible. There might be more of them, but there was one that was just called the manga
Oh
Bible,
yeah,
and somebody made like a manga out of the Gospels, and like it seemed like a strange thing to do. But I mean, maybe somebody was just super into manga and it really connected with them. I don't know, but there's all kinds of strange ways that people interpret stuff like this.
true. Well, because Luke was so kawaii.
Maybe there's a Mein Kampf manga.
Um, yikes. Oh wait, but speaking of like religious content, um, I was on. I was trolling around Twitch trying to network and make some friends, and I stumbled upon this channel that was broadcasting themselves protest an abortion clinic, and it was really interesting because I'd only ever seen that from the other side, right? Like either people just recording them as a joke for a second, or like there's a few TikTok accounts that follow the protectors or whatever. I don't know what there's a name for them, but they'll like troll the protesters and help people from the car into the building and stuff. And I watched whatever half an hour of these people protesting, and it was super interesting because it was apparent instantly that they only cared. They didn't actually care about their message. They only cared about like the cruelty behind it. It was very interesting and how transparent that was. I thought they'd be more subtle about it.
Yeah, no, people who do stuff like that usually aren't.
Yeah, but I mean, like from other clips I've seen, usually there is at least some sort of semblance of them trying to pretend that they're doing it altruistically or something. But these people were like just blatantly mean and evil from like get go. It was wild, and
I mean, like,
they giggled about it to themselves, like they were like when you talk in class and make your teacher upset and stuff. Like it was just like the most childish, like whatever. It was super interesting.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah. But do you think that I still don't think that that's the majority of people that are on that side of the fence or are doing on that side of the protest.
Um,
That to me still sounds like it's probably an outlier.
Are you talking about just people who are on that side of the issue at all, or people that go out and actually take their time to protest the places like Planned Parenthood?
I mean, people that are doing it like, because basically what you said kind of sounded like they were just trolls
They weren't.
in a sense.
They have a whole YouTube
Really
channel
were.
where they're like a full ministry. It was like a religious institution was doing it. I think the people that actively go out and protest, and I don't want to use the phrase "waste their time," but I can't think of a better thing to say, or like actually use their time to go out and protest and like scream on the corner in a megaphone. I would say a majority of those people are doing it in some sort of like holier than thou pious thing where they're just
Yeah.
trying to be cruel and evil. But there are people on that side that genuinely are against it in a way that's not that. I don't think that's the people that are protesting. In
I
my
haven't seen
opinion.
anyone do that. Like, I haven't seen anybody like protest on the streets for a long time. I used to run into them all the time. They used to.
Well, there's also
You know,
there's like
COVID killed them all.
Pride. There's like the Pride Fest coming up, and there's always the small gathering at the 7-Eleven
Yes.
of people who are protesting the Pride Fest.
Really?
No, that happens all
Yeah,
the time.
Yeah,
Like, there's
good
like
luck.
people, like there'll be like a group of like 5 people who just sit there and just like shake their head or whatever. Like, yeah, no, that's a thing.
yeah. There's like a handful of people that hang out at the 7-Eleven with their whole like "you're going to hell" signs.
Yeah, okay, good one, buddy.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't get why people like. This is such a like I said. Yeah, it's just like a waste of time. Like, why would you do it? It's not enjoyable, and it doesn't make anybody else happy. It causes problems. I don't know. If you don't like something, just leave it alone.
It's correct. I mean,
I don't know.
I can think of lots of things that are worth fighting for.
Well, sure, but like
but-
this, something like this, like no one ever has anybody ever had their mind changed by like any of this? Like, is anyone ever gonna go to the Pride Parade and then sees 5 people outside the stand 7-Eleven with a sign like, you know what? Maybe I won't go to the Pride Parade.
No.
No, they're gonna go to the Pride
Correct.
Parade.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I think the people that are
Likewise, has anyone been at the front of the 7-Eleven being disgusted by the Pride Parade, and then the Pride Parade comes back like, you know what? This looks fun. I'm gonna join. And then they go join the Pride Parade, and there's only 4 people in front of the 7-Eleven. Never happened.
I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often, because the Pride's lit. But I guess this is as good a time as any while I'm discussing my little trip around Twitch. Is I put together a little like 5.5 minute thing. I'm not the best editor. I'm sure the pacing's off, but I made friends with another podcast on Twitch, and I would like to share that moment with you two. So, give me like 2 seconds to switch over the audio while I talk fairly slowly, and then we'll do a volume test and it'll be all set. So, this is
Did
me.
we already do the volume test?
I keep having to switch back and forth.
Okay.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode whoa, of the Inception.
As a holistic horticulture.
Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did that? Oh, the shortcut is like different. The shortcut I used to switch activates something in this. That's so funny. Okay.
We need to have one of those. You need to have one of those things where it's like, you technical difficulties that
I
you
do.
just flash up for a second.
I do, because it's interesting because I might have just given away like a secret project I'm working on or something, because it was just like cycling through videos on my computer. So anyway, or something naughty, am I right, guys? So this is me making friends. The channel is called 509 Divine Pine. Shout out, and that is him on the left, and he was doing an interview with this garden, farming expert on the right. Enjoy.
As a holistic horticulture gardener, I guess, I examine interdisciplinary
And the guy's
big ass
goofy.
shovel. Number one.
interdisciplinary avenues. So considering the geology of your location. So for like Eastern Washington, we have, the flooding, that wiped away all of the soils. And so robust agricultural soils in the world. I mean, that's like where 6th best economy in the world, and a huge portion of that is from agriculture because of the sea life and accumulation of minerals in your soil. So it's really, it's very different according to the geology of your region. And so activity
So what do you think of my friends so far?
I mean, it's very different depending on the geography of your region.
Okay, he just makes funny. He has interesting camera etiquette. So I thought I'd highlight that a little bit at the beginning.
Yes.
Okay, continuing.
happened here? Was there glacial activity? That's going to give you a little bit of inference into your soil type. And then you can do simple tests on your soil at home. And so like with, and I'm growing in containers because I'm in a neighborhood. This is the first time I've ever lived 17 acres, plant right out there in the ground, really rich, loamy, high clay soil. And then here it's rocky, lacking a lot of organic matter. There's whole studies on all of these topics that we can just use our eyes. It's definitely been a struggle. California, I had amazing crops and was able to grow year round.
High or needs to take a shit.
So
Okay,
that's
this girl is like the plant version of that I Love Cats girl. Remember that? It sounds like I love cat. Like every kind of cat. I just want to hug them all. She's rambling on about something. This girl is the plant cat girl.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously she's answering questions and describing her expertise or whatever, but it's so weird because it's like he's high, but it's like next level. And
yes,
wait, so is he just playing a video?
No, this is a Twitch podcast like us that I was watching live.
Yeah.
And I downloaded it and made it into this because the part that I wanted to highlight was like 15 minutes long, so I had to clip it up to show you.
Wait, so did you do all these zooms on his facial expressions?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought you were literally showing us a video. So you're telling me that that's just what he was interviewing somebody.
Yes. And while she was speaking, he just started doing all the tongue licks and all the puckering and all the whatever.
That is wild.
And you have no idea what happens. You have to get ready. But yes, I did all the edits. So all the jump cuts, all the zooms, maybe some music.
So he's interviewing this girl.
And I honestly don't know the context, right? Like I'm just assuming based on the logo and the name that he's doing a podcast about organic growth with some sort of cannabis leaning to it. And here we go.
It's cold and I'm in a neighborhood, so my topsoil was scraped away, and I don't have it's very shallow to watch out for, or like black walnut and black cherry, because they produce allelochemicals that act as an herbicide and limit plant growth.
Fuck up her vibe?
So when your mulches, that's really all you need to be wary of. Also spraying, like if it's treated wood mulch, you don't really want to do that, right? You want untreated.
Literally not go to the doctor, because I haven't really been to the doctors for any sicknesses in years. So just to go with this, yeah, you know how you were saying like how important it is that we eat our own natural-based foods for our health, right? Like literally, all right, guys. The reason I started switching over to organics and non-GMO was years ago. Like I started looking into the food and what we eat, right? Because I would actually get health problems with my foods. Like I was eating GMO shit right out of high school. You know, everyone was. I was drinking Dr. Peppers, Red Bulls, eating 2-minute burritos, eating hot Cheetos, Doritos.
I mean, I guess he's
name it. You can name it. I ate it, man, literally. And it was junk. I would, be at night. I'm like, man, why does my stomach feel like inverted? Why does my brain hurt? Why am I getting migraines? Why does my skin feel a little off? And it would be like an hour or two after I'd eat these things. And maybe it was a little bit because I had 13 shots because of the National Guard military and all their freaking poison shots, you know what I mean? Kind of gave me a little bit of sickness, but whatever. It could be the mix of both, which it is, and that's what I'm talking about.
This guy has bought some products from Alex Jones before, for sure.
I'm not sure what. Is he like playing a character or is he real? I'm not quite sure.
Oh, it's so real.
It's terrifying.
It's
actually.
so funny because he just goes like the dichotomy. Yeah, it just on. Just watch. Okay, here we go.
So I started looking into these organic foods, and literally once I started eating organic food. Once I started eating my own natural food from outside, like literally, getting tomatoes from the garden fresh.
Join his pyramid scheme.
So juicy, so tasty. Like literally, I felt like my hydration restored. Like I'm like, this is interesting. All my health issues went away. Like I was able to start waking up sharp. I was waking up happy, alert, clear. I wouldn't be so bipolar. When people bring to me situations I didn't like that.
Wait, what'd you say?
I said waking up clean. He must shower at night.
No, it's the hydration from the organics. Are you listening?
Hey, hon, have you heard about essential oils?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the territory we're in.
Hey, girly.
I
Saw
was
your
so
Insta and thought
mad,
you'd be perfect for my products.
so dramatic, everything was kind of under control. And, you see in society, yes, this is one of the things that we talk about, like, there is a lot of health issues. There's a lot of psychological issues. We see a lot of cancer, diabetes. We see literally almost every part of the body now, have these weird issues that I don't think happened 200 years ago. Absolutely not. And, it's literally because of the food. Now, look at it. So, GMO, this is for my viewers. GMO means genetically modified organism. We are a natural organism. If we start adding all these genetically modified organisms that have all these artificial, non-natural substances going, a different way than our organic processes, our body is not going to be able to mesh. It's not going to be able to
grow. Literally, like it creates this fungal network inside of us. Like some people even think that there's graphene inside of these foods. Oh my god! And it's going to be able to, like. Oh, I don't know what happened to Queen of Sun Grown.
So,
What the fuck is this person talking about?
I don't know, but it's so funny watching this live because, like, it could have just been a technical issue, but she definitely
How
just
is
left.
Plant Girl reacting to this?
She definitely just left the call, right?
Oh.
Like she dips. I mean, she'll come back, but she dips for a second. It's like, oh yeah, she dipped and then felt guilty and came back or something. Because it's like, she just dipped. All right, there's a little bit left, and then I'll have an interaction with him.
Okay, she's back. Thank God.
Those foods are literally creating a network inside of us that is not natural. Like plastics, there's plastics found in these foods. There's metals that are in these foods that don't belong in our body. It's creating sicknesses, guys. I know I have a lot of people out there that are, fighting sicknesses. Like,
The dichotomy between her calm professionalism and your unhinged ranting is sending me. Okay, that's cool. Hey, right. So, yeah, this is about, the fight for humanity, right?
Hey everyone! And then he ends with the, it's about the fight for humanity.
Oh man, that was something else.
Oh, that happened.
Yeah, I thought y'all would enjoy that. I said that comment, and then he just pulled it up and read it, and then he just went back to, okay, guys, we're talking about saving humanity. So we're besties now. So I did some good networking.
You.
And now we got I got the hookup for all the organic sativa y'all want, you know?
Thank God. Now we'll live forever.
But in all seriousness, organic is bullshit. I'm not even saying like I'll go on my own rant that it's complete bullshit. I used to work in produce, and they'll even tell you
Yes.
it's bullshit.
It's not. It's there's just so much. That's a whole rabbit hole you can go down.
Let's
Also,
go.
there's zero proof that GMOs are bad for you.
That's the one that gets
There's
me.
zero science
Is
there.
GMOs
Now,
like save people?
there's not science that says that it isn't bad for you, but I feel like you don't really look at things like that.
Correct. Well, there's science that it saves people's lives, you know.
It
Not that
saves
it's
crops'
inherently good.
lives.
Sorry?
Yeah, I think it saves people's lives because it probably GMOs, but probably more so non-organic stuff. Like the reason we can feed so many people
Yes.
is because of synthetic pesticides and like
Well, you're right. And there've been certain
like
strain.
organic stuff. They lose like it's so expensive because they lose like half the crop. They lose like so much of that from not using these type of pesticides that like
And the plants have been bred for high yield, and to be certain varieties are resilient to certain things. I mean, there's just a whole lot. Like I said, that's how we feed everybody, is because we've just become so good
yeah,
at it.
there's too many fucking people if we didn't have all that. Like there's already enough, there's still obviously in certain parts of the world, people are hungry and there's starvation and shit like that, but that would be like multiplied by a crazy amount if we didn't have these innovations.
Yes.
True.
It's yeah, there are the people that are like way too into all that organic stuff, or they're against like every pesticide, or like this type of mulch is even bad and this type of whatever, and it's very much like a first world problem, sort of. Only the people that sort of already have like such a good solid
More
base in
than
their
they
life,
need, yeah.
can be the ones that are like, oh, it's so easy, just go to this one supermarket and grow your own whatever and do all this stuff. And it's like, man, some people out here gotta just like live their lives, It's always interesting to hear that kind of stuff from people, because it's most likely they have a huge financial base already, or they're a complete hippie who lives on a commune and their whole life is dedicated to this type of whatever. But yeah, it was fun. We have one bestie.
I think hippie commune life.
What about it?
I think hippie commune life is the best life. If you're gonna be organic, just go all the way and like live off and with the land and.
Just be Amish.
Yeah.
I agree. I think there is a.
Can you be an Amish hippie though? I mean, they're similar. Like, we could make a Venn diagram and feel Amish and hippie and see, like, they're both like very well. See, I don't know if the Amish are necessarily in tune with nature and all that kind of like stuff. They're just they're just very plain. So, and hippies aren't really like plain. Like, well, then maybe it's not so much are they similar, but can you be a hippie without being like tie dye and incense and all psychedelic kind of stuff? Can you just be like a boring hippie?
Yeah,
that
I was gonna say it's called being a hipster.
No, because I feel like hipsters would have like fancy coffees and like weird things like that, like use Polaroid cameras and stuff like that. But you know what though? Hipsters and Amish both are really into beards, so that's a thing.
I knew it all along. I think
We
there's
figured
definitely
out the Traffic Troop has figured out the Amish hipster hippie conspiracy.
there's definitely a difference between someone who's currently in the thralls of hippiness versus someone who used to be a hippie. I feel like certain
That's true.
certain
When
lifestyles.
you meet like an old legit hippie, you can always tell they're very like they have a certain way about them.
Oh, I was saying the exact opposite. I think certain lifestyles.
Wait,
can be, or certain mind frames or certain things can be, are more indicative of how you are as a person forever. But to me, it's like there's this like hippie to alt-right pipeline that exists that to me would
What?
seem
Ah,
there
well,
definitely is.
I think that not so it's not so much hippie to all right as so much as it is like people grow up. Like people tend to get more conservative as they get older, as a rule of thumb. And hippie is very young and free, and then hippie grows up and it becomes, I don't know, bitter or brought down to earth or something like that.
That's kind of what I'm saying, yeah. But I think there's so many QAnon
But I don't think it's
people.
an automatic thing like if hippie then kind of thing.
I mean, some people
No,
are
I'm
just
just saying there's yeah.
fringe.
What?
It's just fringe.
That's what I meant. There's so many hippies that became QAnon people.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Well, no, they were like, well, those things, like, that was like their youth, and then their youth is over, and then like someone else comes. It's just kind of the generational cycle, I think.
No, but some people. I'm just saying that I know
No, some
that
people are still
correlation
hippies.
exists.
There's still like, like people who are like very, very old and are still doing that hippie life, and
I
like
agree.
live in a van down by a river and just drop acid all day or whatever.
I agree. I'm just saying that exists. That's and it makes
Yes.
sense where it's just like they were sort of anti-government fringe, like you were saying, and the new anti-government fringe thing that they see as being that next movement is this,
No, that's true.
is the
They are
conspiracy
they
lifestyle.
are in a weird sort of way similar, kind of like a horseshoe theory thing. No, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah. That's something I've seen. So I thought I would say it. See it, say it. That's the podcast motto. And that's how you got to be.
If you see something, say something.
Exactly. And if you see a perfect ending to the episode, take it. It was so nice to hang out with all y'all for the 5th episode of the podcast. And Blaze, you got any final words?
I'm still a Pisces.
Johnny D, you got any final words?
Stay organic, folks.
And I will say good night to you all. We love you in the most personal way that is possible. Goodbye.
Essentially.
Bye.